So this is why I think it's very likely that the next 24 to 48 hours does show us a continuation of this move to the upside in Bitcoin and in altcoins, which I will talk about, which is actually the most exciting story right now, the altcoin market. But let's stay with Bitcoin as we're analyzing Bitcoin. So I'm seeing this continue to go up, and notice if this happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, that will have taken 3 to 4 days, right? Remember, I said that the next full moon was on the 23rd, so that's in about 6 days. So if we take 1, 2, 3, 4 days down, right, that gives us a move that's comparable in timing on the way up and the way down. Hello everyone, my name's Dean, and let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for almost daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is May 17th, 2024, and here is why I'm expecting big moves in the cryptocurrency markets today and perhaps early into tomorrow morning, but I'm expecting a slowdown throughout the weekend and into early next week. And I'm going to explain myself. Guys, if that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope everyone's enjoying this pump. Let's get into it. Bitcoin right now has started giving us a move to the upside, a strong move to the upside, targeting our next logical resistance at 73,800 thereabouts. Okay, so I will say this: our 73,800 target is specifically acquired from this pattern, this chart pattern, this inverse head and shoulders, right? A bullish reversal pattern. This is my left shoulder, this is my head, this is my right shoulder. That's how I'm seeing it. Okay, the way you take these targets is you take the height of the pattern, superimpose it from the neckline, and that's how I got 73.8. Okay, another way I'm sort of confirming that as being a logical or a likely target is the fact that this descending wedge breakout, right, is targeting the top of the descending wedge, which is thereabouts around 73.8, and it is still the top of this 60 plus day reaccumulation channel. Okay, remember, we've been in this area, in this zone of price action between 60,000 and 72,000 thereabouts for 60 plus days. And the context of all of this is Bitcoin is right below all-time highs. So this is a very, very big deal. Okay. I said in last video, I'm going to hold myself accountable, that I thought that we were going to come down a little bit lower, all right, around 63.4, thereabouts, 63.3, 63.4, before turning back up, but we didn't. Okay, and I'm just going to clean this up. I don't like to make changes on my charts without explaining myself, because no, I'm not cheating or anything like that. Just so you all understand, the way I do my work is I use all available information, made available to me to make the best possible decisions. And when I get new information that makes more sense, that fits, that makes more sense, that is, how would I say, gives a simpler explanation, then I incorporate it and I change. I change based off of the best possible, the newest and most accurate information that I have. Okay, and so that was the case yesterday when I saw that right here the price of Bitcoin really reacted. Okay, and I was like, what's going on there? Why is that such a strong reaction? Why did we come down here and all of a sudden change course to the upside? Well, that tells me that this is an important level right here. Okay, and prior to noticing that, right, prior to that move, my 60 plus day reaccumulation channel was like this. It was slightly slanted. So you can see that heart line, that midline that I talk about a lot in my videos, was a little lower, and I thought that it was very important that the price come down to this midline, retest it before moving up, okay? However, because we stopped here, I was like, let me try something. So what I do, I moved my 60 plus day reaccumulation channel up, and I saw, hey, maybe that's the midline. Maybe my channel isn't slanted, right? And so you can see here, this line, this level, whoops, let's try that again. This level is a believable, or it's a credible midline for the 60 plus accumulation channel. Why? Because the price reacts very consistently on this level right here, okay? So that may very well be the midline. That may have been our midline retest, a little higher than I thought, okay? So that's that. I just wanted to explain for people keeping score. And at the end of the day, with that midline, you get this very nice inverse head and shoulders that I showed you with that midline as the neckline. Pop up, retest, boom. Okay. I said in the introduction, I think that we're likely to get a strong move for the rest of Friday and probably early into Saturday, okay? But then for the rest of the weekend, I'm seeing a move down. And why is that? Okay, always, I think it's a really good idea, especially in trending markets, and this constitutes a trending market right there. This is a trending market where you're going up and up and up. You're not necessarily going sideways, okay? In trending markets, the moon phases are very, very reliable. What do I mean by that? If you're coming up on a full moon or a new moon, pay attention and do expect the appropriate reaction in the markets, right? And for those of you who don't know, based on 50 plus years of market research, full moons represent local market bottoms, new moons, local market tops in financial markets, and the next moon phase is a full moon on the 23rd in approximately 6 days from now. That would mean in 6 days from now, I'm expecting for us to find a bottom, okay? And so if in 6 days from now, I'm expecting a bottom, for me as an analyst, I need to think, okay, what on my chart can signify a bottom? Okay, well, I have this target right here at 73.8 as my next logical resistance. That's approximately 10 to 11% from where we're at, okay? So if I go back on my daily time frame and I look and see, okay, where is my most recent impulse, most recent trending move? It's this right here, okay? This move right here. It started on the 15th, so Wednesday. This strong daily candle, this pullback, right? And I expect this to continue to go and hit our target. If this is an initial impulse, that would constitute in Elliott wave parlance a wave 1. I would then expect my wave 2 to take about the same amount of time as this purported wave 1, and then retrace between 0.5 and 618 Fibonacci retracement levels of that first wave. So this is why I think it's very likely that the next 24 to 48 hours does show us a continuation of this move to the upside in Bitcoin and in altcoins, which I will talk about, which is actually the most exciting story right now, the altcoin market. But let's stay with Bitcoin as we're analyzing Bitcoin. So I'm seeing this continue to go up, and notice if this happens in the next 24 to 48 hours, that will have taken 1, 2, 3 to 4 days, right? Remember, I said that the next full moon was on the 23rd, so that's in about 6 days. So if we take 1, 2, 3, 4 days down, right, that gives us a move that's comparable in timing on the way up and the way down. I hope I'm not losing anybody. And the other thing I would do is I would look at this purported impulse, right, from around this area right here, and I would take my Fibonacci retracement level and hit it all the way up to our potential target, and a retracement of that would have us come right back to this area, the midline. Again, the midline has to be retested as support. These are so important. You've been in this 60 plus days. You cannot ignore that midline retest. I don't think that this is sufficient. I think that you do eventually get another move here. And another reason I like this is because if we do get any impulsive price action to the upside on the weekend while the US dollar currency index is not trading, it doesn't matter, because all that is going to be retraced upon during the beginning of next week. So that is consistent with what we see. If you get any moves up or down, typically in the markets while the traditional markets are closed, specifically the US dollar currency index is closed, then usually you get retracements on that. So it's kind of like wash trading. But at the end of the day, it's still a very nice wave 1, wave 2 scenario, something like that. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing in the Bitcoin chart. Like I said, 24 to 48 hours to hit our $73,800 level, and in that time altcoins may do something like 20 to 50%. We're going to see that in a moment, so stay with me if you're interested in altcoins. Okay, so that was Bitcoin, and I want to now show you why I'm so excited about altcoins. Okay, first, let's see this. I want to show you this. Okay, if you don't understand what I'm looking at, this is Bitcoin dominance. This is a chart that shows Bitcoin's strength in the whole cryptocurrency markets against altcoins. So when this chart is going up, that means Bitcoin's gaining against altcoins. Bitcoin's beating altcoins. Either Bitcoin's going down less and altcoins are going down more, or Bitcoin's going up and altcoins are stagnant or not going up as much. Okay, so when this goes up, it pays to be in Bitcoin, okay? Because altcoins aren't doing much of anything in relation to Bitcoin. And you can see from the end of 2022, or you could say, yeah, the end of 2022, it has paid to be in Bitcoin. You can see a very strong pattern, a very strong trend up and to the right of, basically, if you've been in altcoins at the exclusion of Bitcoin, you've lost out on massive gains. Okay, Bitcoin has beat altcoins soundly, and this is what this chart tells us. Although, look at this now. Let's zoom out a little more. Notice where we're at. This is a multi-year resistance. Okay, specifically, you're looking at this downward sloping resistance is about 2,600 days of resistance. Okay, so you've come and you've hit this, and I've talked about this before. This is nothing new. But what is really exciting on the smaller time frames, if you study this chart, is on the daily time frame. I think you can see it very, very nicely. You've come and you've started putting in a bunch of corrective price action, up and down and up and down and up and down, and finally you've made a lower high here. You know, prior to that, you've made higher highs and higher highs, lower high. That is a very important sign of reversal, because what you're likely to get here as a result of this lower high is something that we call a head and shoulders or bearish reversal pattern. You see that? So you have your left shoulder here, you have your right shoulder, and your head. So this is how you get those head and shoulders pattern. You get a lower high, and that lower high makes that right shoulder. So this is what I'm seeing on the Bitcoin dominance chart, which is very exciting because when this goes down, that means what? That means altcoins are gaining against Bitcoin. And what do you see in the market right now? What do you see in the market right now? Well, if you look at your watch lists, let me fix my screen really quickly. When you look at your watch lists, it's very clear that what we're seeing is altcoins are finally, on the whole, beating Bitcoin. Okay, you can see Bitcoin's up almost 2% today. Most of the altcoins are up much more than that. Okay, some up twice, 3 times that. Okay, so this is exciting. This is really exciting. And why am I saying that altcoins are likely to go 20 to 50%? Well, in what I've seen, here's what I'm seeing altcoins do. Okay, this is Link. This is an early runner. You'll have examples of things or assets or commodities, securities, whatever you want to call them, that show you the way. They're kind of like they move earlier. Okay, and so this is a channel that we've been in most every asset for 30 days. Okay, because after this declension, this fall, you've had to consolidate at the lows. Okay, this 30 plus day consolidation has to result in a move up. Okay, and this is what you're starting to see in altcoins. And this move up in Chainlink was a move up to the phi ratio of the preceding impulse down. Okay, look at the preceding impulse down. You have your head and shoulders, right? Left shoulder, head, right shoulder, a lower high, and that moves into this impulse. That was a loss of this support, okay? And so down we went, we consolidated for 30 plus days, and we came up, and you hit almost to the dollar, the 0.618 phi ratio of the preceding impulse. Does that make sense? So a lot of targets in altcoins can be ascertained through simply identifying the previous impulse, pulling your Fibonacci retracement tool, and targeting that phi ratio. Because remember, the phi ratio is typically resistance when you're below it, support when you're above it. And we're below it right now, right? Because that was the preceding impulse to the downside. You do your consolidation, you pop up and out, and you hit your phi ratio. And I believe that what you're getting in Chainlink after, well, let's just say this move took 3 days, and in 3 days you got your 23%. And what I've seen on the charts is most of these altcoins will give 20 to 50% from the lows of those 30-day consolidations. That's why I said 20 to 50%. Meanwhile, Bitcoin is giving you 10 to 12% to its 73.8 target. Okay, and so you see 3 days up, 3 days down. Okay, that is a typical wave 1, wave 2 situation. And remember, if this is a 30-day channel, remember you have your top resistance, bottom support, midline, resistance when you're below it, support when you're above it. You got to retest that midline as support. So 3 days up, 3 days down for Chainlink. I believe Chainlink is going to be one of the early movers into wave 3, because in about 3 days, so what? Saturday, Sunday, Monday, first thing next week, I believe you start moving on Chainlink, and it completes the retest of the midline of this 30 plus day channel. Okay, so I think if you look at your altcoins, you can perform similar analyses and get really reliable targets. Okay, let's just do Ethereum really quickly. So Ethereum, again, much like Chainlink, you have this distribution, a preceding impulse, and this is the impulse right here, right? This is the 5 wave move that went down really quickly, A, B, C. You're looking at that C wave, right? This is a zigzag, A, B, C. That C wave is your impulse. And then after you got that impulse to the lows, you have your 30 plus day accumulation channel, right? This is where you consolidate, you gather buyers again, okay? And so the next move is basically from the lows, you break up to the highs, and again, you're likely targeting the phi ratio of the preceding impulse. So if you take your Fibonacci retracement tool from the top to the bottom of the preceding impulse, you're likely to target about 3340 in Ethereum, okay? And then once you hit that, right, you get that retracement in about the same amount of time it took to go up, and that retracement's likely to retrace and hit the midline of your 30-day channel. Again, just watch, rinse and repeat, and that's what I'm doing. And this is really the key. Once altcoins start moving and start giving, right, the market starts giving, the key to retaining gains is about your strategy. Either your strategy is to trade in and out at important resistance levels, or just to buy and hold and sell when you feel comfortable. But you have to have a strategy. And if you sell too early, you sell too early. If you sell too late, you may be victim of one of those big retracements that we'll see later down the line after you've put in a series of 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down, 5 waves up, 3 waves down. And depending on your entry, you may have a retracement below your entry. So it's tricky, but with preparation, with a little bit of attention, you can do it. Okay, you can definitely do it. So this is what I'm seeing on the charts. Let's look at an example of a 50% mover. Okay, because I said 20 to 50%. Stacks is one of those big movers. Okay, Stacks isn't even like, this is I think it's a top 50 project, maybe top 50, top 100. I haven't checked in a while. But this is further along than a lot of altcoins. A lot of altcoins, like, let me just give an example. A lot of altcoins like Litentry are at their bear market bottoms. Okay, on the weekly time frame, you can see very clearly this was the previous bull market. If now maybe not, because that was just sort of the an introduction onto the market. I think this entered in the bear market, and then you have many years of consolidation. So this is the many years of bear market consolidation. You're pretty much at the midline or the bottom of this bear market consolidation, right? You see this right here. This is a channel of many years. You hit the top of the channel, you retest the midline as support. Now you can leave the channel and probably retest the top of the channel as support after you break out. So that's why my next big time high time frame target is all the way up here. But anyway, the idea is this particular asset is way down here at the bear market lows, and if it does start moving, this is basically like Bitcoin moving off of 16K. Okay, I digress. Let's go back to Stacks, and that's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. This is a 50% mover. Okay, why am I seeing 50% in the next 24 to 48 hours on Stacks? Here's why. On the daily time frame, you can see that it's giving you 50% because it's already started moving impulsively. You see that? It's already trending, and it's been trending since last year. It's been trending like Bitcoin since the end of last year, right? Early this year, you can see a strong impulse, and then you've had this kind of bull pennant, okay, right here, this reaccumulation, kind of like Bitcoin. This is why you're getting a particularly stronger move to the upside in this, because some people will ask, well, Stacks, it's pretty high up there, you know, in terms of market cap. Why would it give so many gains versus a smaller cap altcoin? Well, it's because it's at a different stage in its trend. Okay, and so when I look at this, I'm seeing a type of channel, right? A descending wedge, that's one. Two, I'm seeing also a kind of complex flat correction. You could say it's a triangle. Maybe it's a triangle, maybe it's a complex flat correction, it doesn't matter. In any case, I'm seeing this as a clear pivot, right? This is a top, a previous top. And so if I'm taking how this previous top was made, my previous impulse, this was my last one, but then we hit this, right? So the one before last was this. So I'm going to measure this with my Fibonacci retracement tool. Maybe that's not evident, it's not obvious, but with experience, it makes sense. If I haven't explained it, then let's just assume that, you know, the explanation would be too long-winded and beyond the scope of this update. In any case, that's how I'm taking the target for this. I'm looking at this impulse right here because the phi ratio, this impulse has already been targeted, has already been tested with this move. Okay, so basically I'm now going here and trying this, and I think this move is going to give me the next logical resistance, which is the phi ratio of this impulse, a three-wave move down here. This is kind of a zigzag, an ABC or WXY, however you want to label it. And so that phi ratio is going to be your next logical resistance, the phi ratio of this. And does it make sense? Yes. Why? Because I can clearly see resistance here. I can clearly see resistance here. Clearly see resistance here in the chart. So the chart's saying, yes, there is resistance historically at this level. So I would target that. And then from here, if you measure it, it's approximately a 50% move. Okay, so that's my explanation. I hope that wasn't too confusing or too sort of arcane, but I hope that was helpful. I hope that was useful. Let me know if you found any use, any value in that kind of analysis, how I set targets on my altcoin trades. Obviously, come up with your own strategy. I'm setting early targets 20 to 50% up because it's early in the move in this altcoin bull market, and I want to take profits and then reinvest. So that's why I'm doing it. But you have to come up with your own trade plan and your own strategy, or else, you know, you plan to fail. So that's it for me. Take care. Like, share, and subscribe. Consider buying me a coffee at the pinned comment below, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.